Dere means love, but what do all of these words mean? For example, Kuudere means to take pleasure in teasing and flirting with love interests, but aren't cruel like Sadodere. And after extensive research, we've comprised a complete guide to every Dere archetype.
We got Deredere. It's a term for an overly affectionate character who is love-struck and does not hide their romantic feelings towards their love interests.
Deredere is like the Eevee of all the Deres. This evolves into every other Dere type.
Now, ranking Deres isn't as simple as just going through all of them, but we have many subcategories for all these Dere types, and the subcategories for, a Deredere would be a Megadere. The character has a strong adoration for their love interest and will not be afraid to give them large displays of affection and tell them how much they love them. A Tsundere is a character who has loving feelings for their love interest, but they're unable to show it, so it ends up with things like this. There's many subcategories for a Tsundere, such as a Tsundere.
A Tsundere is a term for a Tsundere character who is dishonest with their true feelings of love and acts cold towards their love interest by insisting they're nothing more than a guy friend or a female friend to hide the fact that they actually have Deredere feelings for them and desire to be romantic lovers.
And a Tsundere,
who's a Tsundere character who acts dishonest with their feelings because they become shy and embarrassed around their love interest.
And a Tsunshun
is a Tsundere character who acts standoffish and disinterested in their love interest and then becomes sad when they couldn't be honest with their own feelings.
And a Tsunaho
is a Tsundere character who tries so hard to look uninterested in their love interest that they just end up making a fool out of themselves.
But we also have other subcategories for Tsundere, such as
a Erodere, also known as a Zingdere, right? It's a Tsundere that shocks their love interest whenever they get embarrassed, but over time grows to be more cute and a Deredere as they learn to be honest with their feelings.
Didn't strike me though.
Dere, which reflexively punches them with their fists when they become embarrassed by their love interest affection. The last one in the subcategory is Dandere, which is a term for a Tsundere character who hides their feelings of love towards their love interest by shooting guns at them when they get embarrassed. That sounds awesome, but over time grows to become loving and Deredere.
Non-Yandere, very affectionate and loving characters that start to show signs of being mentally sick and just not there from just being too far into love.
Just like from Doki Doki Literature Club, school days, the list
Teacher Diaries.
Under Yandere, we have many different subcategories like
Himedere is a term for a character who has gone insane and usually acts like a crazy lunatic, but whose romantic feelings towards their love interest are surprisingly cute and Deredere.
Then we got the Deredere, term for a character who seems to be cute and lovey-dovey and overly affectionate, but it's revealed that this is nothing more than a disguise to hide their true, disgusting intentions, which is full of disturbed thoughts and feelings of hatred towards their love interest.
You're full of shit.
Himedere is a term for a character who starts as a villain trying to kill their love interest, but then switches sides after falling in love with them. One of my favorite characters of all time, Kurumi.
好き好き大好き結婚しよう my honey.
Kuudere, also known as a Kuudere, is a term for a character who initially acts cold, expressionless, and indifferent to hide their loving feelings, but becomes very Deredere around their love interest after getting closer to them.
100円ください。お金いるの?
A Tsundere is a term for a character who gets sad whenever their love interest doesn't pay attention to them, but is very Deredere.
Continue.
But is very Deredere when they do.
花間の削らの前ではついつい素を見せてしまう。
Tsundere is a term for a character who is normally depressed and gloomy all the time but becomes cheerful and loving and Deredere around their love interests. Gesudere is a term for a character who usually talks and behaves in a very crude, offensive, and vulgar way but becomes cute and gentle and affectionate around their Deredere.
Erodere is a character who acts Deredere toward their love interest when they're speaking Russian or to hide their true feelings of affection, just like a very specific anime, Alia hides her feelings in Russian.
That's super specific. It's almost like they made it after her.
Wait, Roshidere sounds like Russian. I just got that. Okay. Dandere is a character. Shut the fuck up. Dandere is a character who doesn't show much affection or love, very cold and emotionless, until over time they start getting very Deredere and showing their loving side as they get closer to their love interest.
何? いや、なんでもないわ。
Himedere is a term for a character whose nihilistic worldview appears to be a very negative, apathetic, and cynical personality, but is actually very cute and affectionate. Hajidere, also known as a Teradere, whoever calls them that, is a term for a character who is normally very shy and blushes from embarrassment whenever they're near their love interest, but eventually overcomes their shyness and becomes affectionate and Deredere with them.
Very lucky girl, Asya! Your boyfriend is smuggling serious kielbasa.
Really?
Kielbasa smuggling.
Sounds like an issue that should be relegated to the authorities.
I mean his big dick!
Sadodere is a term for a character who gains pleasure by toying with and teasing their love interest, but over time starts to show cuter, more overly affectionate Deredere side.
Just like that one with the black girl.
She's actually canned Nagatoro.
Make her calm, understand?
A Tsundere. I wonder who named this. Term for a character who flirts with their love interest in a non-serious way to playfully tease them and get flustered reaction out of them, but eventually adopts a more serious, loving side that's more open and honest. Wow. I wish a lot more people were like this.
はい、ダーリン。
Erodere is a character who acts very freaky with their love interest, but over time develops more pure and innocent feelings as they get closer to them. For the subgenres, we have Tsundere is a character who becomes Deredere for their love character is sausage. Kuudere is for a character who really loves smelling their love interest and their belongings. Sounds like me. Erodere is a character who is very lovey-dovey with their love interest, but they enjoy being injured and punished in very weird ways.
なんで？ねえねえ、前みたいにさ、もう一回ガツンと。
嫌です。くそ、今度会ったら。
A Himedere is a term for a female character of nobility who starts out wanting their love interest to constantly give them lots of attention and affection, but adopts a more loving side and starts fawning over their love interest and doing loving things to make them also feel taken care of. A Kamidere is a term for a character who's a god and very arrogant and self-centered and looks down on their love interest. Erodere is a term for a princess who starts out spoiled and naive, but eventually becomes cute and Deredere for the love interest.
Here, have some water.
Up out at 1 in the morning, you really wanna know this kind of life never boring.
Goldere is a term for a character who acts overpowering, and they give their love interest everything, basically spoiling them, even if it means annoying everybody else, but it's still cute at the end of the day.
Get down on your hands and knees.
Yandere, it's a term for a character who likes being, toyed with, being weird.
それで塗りんせ方が頭がおかしいわ、大勝ちゴリラ！やっつめうなぎ！
Bakadere, also known as the Ahodere, I don't know who calls it that, is a term for a character who lacks good judgment, and usually is an idiot, but sometimes acts cute and lovey-dovey. Wow, like Patrick.
あと一つ。ソーダアンダーギー。なんだこれは。
Himedere, term for a character who's kind, affectionate, gentle, but suffers from a serious illness.
Tsundere is a term for a zombie character who is a Deredere. Tsundere is a character who has died but finds his love interest and becomes Deredere, coming back to life. Yandere is a character who says yeah or I agree to almost everything their love interest says, so they don't get upset at them and they can stay Deredere with them. Erodere is a term for a character who only shows their lovey-dovey Deredere side toward the love interest when they are drunk.
There's no way I can do this sober. Sorry about the wait, honey.
Shidodere is a term for a character who is usually Deredere with their love interest, but also gets extremely jealous over them when they're near potential romantic rivalry.
和也くんのお願いなら。
Kanedere is a term for a character who at first will pretend to be in love with their love interest if they have money, status, or any other resource that will benefit them, but in that process falls genuinely in love and becomes Deredere with them.
文字でお小遣いたくさんもらってるけど、楽器につぎ込むから常に金欠だよ。どこが褒め言葉に聞こえた？
And Uzadere is a term for a character who is normally very loud and likes annoying their love interest, but also has a cuter and more lovey-dovey Dere side.
This was our ultimate Omega elite guide to all the Dere types, and you
Make sure to check out the Discord in the description and maybe the comments too. Subscribe or get touched.